chapters from the recent publication. And then, and Alice, you're welcome to begin by reading a couple of things if you want to inaugurate the festivities. That would be great. And then we'll have probably a 10-minute break for people to do whatever, and then we'll have the open session. So yeah. Oh,
Is the literary journal the host this Happy Mind, or is it a different group? Or I used to come to this, I don't know if it's changed. I was just wondering.
no, the question is what?
Is the literary review, the magazine, do they host these every month, or is it just a different group?
Yeah, no, it's different. Yeah, we have different featured things, different, and so yeah. So is this kind of like coincides with the midsummer date of the founding or of the magazine or anything? No, not nothing like that. Okay, not yeah. So anyway, we're celebrating a number of years though. So without further ado, I'll turn the stage over to Alice.
Can I get this lower? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, thank you.
You betcha.
Well, thank you all for coming. I'm Alice Rogoff. I'm one of the current editors of the Haight Ashbury Literary Journal, and Cesar Love is the other co-editor of the journal. It was started by Indigo Hotchkiss and Cliff McIntyre in the Haight Ashbury, but it has expanded out to other places, and we list in directories, so we've gotten writers from other states and even other countries. And it started as a community kind of a journal. But sometimes we have themes and other times we don't, and we've also published some of the poet laureates or people who became poet laureates of the city, like Jack Hirschman and Devorah Major, and just a whole variety of different writers. And the recent issue seems to emphasize nature, I think because Brian Curvin is our feature poet, and Indigo and Cliff started having this theme where they would have, one feature poet in the middle of the journal. But right now for the readings, I'm alternating different writers from it. And in the first one, who I thought would go well with Brian Curvin's writing on nature, if that's what he's going to read, hopefully, is that Sally Love Saunders also writes quite a bit about nature. She's a widely published poet, poetry therapist, lecturer, freelance writer, and workshop leader. Her work has appeared in the New York Times, Times International, the London Times, and over 300 other anthologies and magazines and newspapers. She has a lesson plan for teaching poetry that was published in the Christian Science Monitor, and holds a BS degree from George Williams College, as well as publishing 8 books of poetry. And I think at that I'm going to let her come up and read for us.
You want a stool?
Sally, just watch out with
No, thank you.
No?
I'd like to
Okay,
stand.
let's just
Yeah.
put this up a little
just watch
higher.
out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll turn this a little bit that way.
Oh, we have a
Turn
nice
that a
crowd
little
here
bit that
tonight.
way.
Here. Yeah.
All right.
It's nice to be here again. I've been up here doing this too long ago, but I'm back. And thank you, Alice, and thank you for your literary journal, which is really a great gift to us poets. This is my very latest book. Greg Pond was the orthopedic surgeon that put it together. It's just come out. And it's called Creative Itch. Creative Itch. We got a creative itch. What does the wind say? Just want to sit on a beach and talk. Can I have my magnifying glass? Talk with the wind. Just letting the wind come up to me and chatter. What does the wind say? Wind tells about where it's been and also says, hope it will not be too cold for my comfort. Polite wind, and I am sitting in a polite garden. What does the wind say? Waves come to shore. Waves come to shore, all dressed up in party attire. The waves heard I was coming, so waves put on fancy diamond necklaces and painted glistening fingernails. Parade of yellow flowers in my honor. Whoops, I forgot to look at my watch. Okay. I'm so excited to be up here. Christopher, will you keep track of time for me, please? I don't feel like I have any sense of time here. Waves arch their backs. Waves arch their backs like an angry cat and hissing like a very angry cat. Waves run to me with outstretched arms. Acrobatic waves, somersaulting, groaning, puffing with Mardi Gras costume and feathery costumes. Waves leaving behind moon dust and diamonds. Waves howling to each other, waves holding their breath and lunging strong. Some waves wearing black, some waves get lost, turn around as if to return. Wish I could become a flying wave, clawing, rolling, yelling wave language as crawling to the shore. Wish could take white fur surf and wrap around me and my neck so soft. Wave fingers reaching up and holding hands with nearby wave fingers. Connecting like two cymbals or two castanets, making wave music. Wave fingers run to the other wave fingers and hug and yell yippee in wave language. With all the awful stuff going on, I just find poetry and being with poets so healing and so centering. I'm just lapping it up like a kitten laps milk up. Really feels good to be with you all. Poem knocking at my forehead. Poem knocking at my forehead to be written now. Poem about how today face me strong with bright headlights. My gold trumpet blasting loud today. To designer's wish, applying fresh, rich soil to my thinking. To grow immediately very bright, pompous sunflowers. Pile of embryo of poems. Pile of embryo of poems backed up in me, like airplanes lined up at an airport. Right now, my poem ideas can take flight one by one. Ocean, holding me in her long arms. Ocean holding me in her long arms. Ocean holds me in her long arms and hums to me, singing me a lullaby, and strokes my head. My crevices fit perfectly into the ocean's deep crevices. Ocean hums and sings soft tunes to me for a long time, as a generous mother and a generous grandmother. I'm a tiny toddler being soothed and rocked by my grandmother, the ocean. I love my dog. I love my dog because she doesn't have to do anything. She just is. She doesn't take on a lot of projects. She refuses to contaminate herself in the polluted stream of nonsense. She is simply herself, her joys greeting me and going for walks. She doesn't concern herself about tomorrow. She is, and that is enough. Caught in a personal tornado. Pieces of my life twirling around as if in a personal tornado. People who used to give me support hands flying loose in the air. Barren fields with not even a blade of green grass to enjoy. There's a mysterious motor stirring up momentum, a massive personal tornado. Breeze and me. Breeze so happy to see me, hugs and lightly and pats on my chin as if I was a cute toddler. My spirit and Breeze energy connect well. It does not think, but lightly, very lightly, hums to me. And the breeze tickles my ears. Just me and the breeze, enjoying each other. Nothing to do but enjoy the breeze. I have to always carry pen and pencil with me. Because I never know. I never know what I'm going to write. So I have to always be prepared. At the Redwoods. At the Redwoods, I said to the trees, "You're taller. You've grown." Truth is, I have shrunk 1 inch. Redwoods, getting taller. I'm getting shorter until we connect perfectly. We have perfect connection from the very second I step into the redwood forest. Some perfect connection, so as enjoyed each time went there. I've been journeying to the redwoods with different last names. Still, my redwood community embraces me and happy to see me. Beautiful, round-faced moon. Beautiful, round-faced moon, hiding behind the shade of clouds, so all that peeks out is a sliver of gold. How I wish I could raise the shade that hides you. A pop-up angel. I suppose all of us have had pop-up angels. Every once in a while, an angel arrives. It may be at the train station or a nephew with a big heart. Today an angel popped up to a doctor's office, offering me her cell phone number if I needed help with labyrinth of technology. Wow, I could have fallen over backwards. It is these pop-up angels that add so much light to my life. Thank you, pop-up angel. Do you know what I mean? Just out of the blue, somebody could be so kind and helpful that they just feel like a pop-up angel.
No, let that go viral.
Pardon?
Let that go viral.
Yeah.
We need more pop-up angels.
Yeah, I say to people, "Oh, you're a pop-up angel." And they go, "I am?" And I said, "Yes."
Pop-up angels.
I'm in a meadow of quiet and time and quiet. I'm in a meadow of time and quiet. Here poems, ideas can be planted and grown. Ideas do not get snuffed out by scurry of speed or activity. In the meadow, they can stretch and walk, maybe wobbly at first. How am I doing on time?
I think you can do about 2 more.
2 more poems?
Yes.
Oh. Again, a poem is coming on. A poem is coming on. I feel a poem coming on. A rush is rushing. I feel a poem coming on. The artist palette of autumn leaves, yelling at me to receive and take back to the land, to where there isn't any colors, where trees remain barren, even though sun shines and breezes twirl. I feel a poem rising up, as though I am going to sneeze. Bright, brilliant colors of autumn specialties. A poem has arrived. Welcome, in poem. Here, unpack and move in. "5 a.m. The wind is asleep. The moon has dark blanket pulled up around its ears. Only bright blonde hair leaks out aside. Winds inside my mind are at rest too. No dust flying across the surface of my brain. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Watch your step here.
Yeah.
Brian Curvin is the feature poet of the current issue. He's a California poet in the schools and radio host of Learning Curve, part of the series Rhythm and Muse on KWMR West Marin Radio, which blends the spoken word with music. His writing is often informed by the movement of travel and by sense of place, and his recently published book of poems, Shorelines, A Traveler Comes Home to the Tide Zone, is primarily inspired by his residence in a small cottage along Highway 1 in Marshall.
Something like that? Okay.
So, greetings. First of all, I want to thank Alice and Cesar for all their hard work and for featuring me in a recent issue of Haight Ashbury Literary Journal. And I'll just invite you to soak in the words from the land of the wilds of West Marin. Starting with a wide-angle view. This is called Panorama. The open landscape, with its illusion of distance, stretches out into contours and folds, formed by raven wings, danced along by coyote, breathing silence, holding its own presence, independent of our naming of it. Drake's Bay, Estero, Pastoral Zone, Peninsula, Kings Point. Man dwindles down to size, enveloped by grassland, bird song, shining waters. He stands in awe of the grandeur of the land, mapped inside his chest. This one is, yeah, you can clap, snap. Thank you. I owe this poem to a friend who's in the audience, Susan, who lives in the Mission. And so this is a poem for the occasion, Interdependence Evening. And it's an old poem, but as I said, for the occasion. That fat red-coated firecracker named Scampy, fur on fire like his owner Sue's red head, has scampered out into the night to fight. Left me alone on Mission apartment roof during my cat sit. As fireworks begin to ignite, I find myself wearing a 4th of July sweatshirt, pulled randomly from her closet. I smile, warmed into the chilly night. From slight blasts and sparklers across Lexington Street to great nitrate bouquets of light across the bay in Oakland, flights of fancy disperse in varying styles, pulses, and frequencies that rise and fall over the least blindly patriotic city in America. I'm getting a rise out of this unified view of the city. Skyrockets sprout up on all sides, stitch together diversity to be celebrated and integrated instead of segregated. Compose a rainbow of fiery trails. Modern tribal districts, red, white, and blue, black, orange, yellow, and green smoke bombs rise above smokestacks, not from sole point of unit of explosion in superficial unity, but in widespread flurrying onslaughts, spicy little multicolored crosstown tracers that paint space over La Mission, Bernal Heights, Soma, 3rd Street, Hunters Point. Minorities spark toward independence in modest displays that interweave the interdependence of ethnicities of the city. Tiny, fiery fuses ride longer in the hearts of a diverse citizenry. All is one alone on this roof, staring at the sky. Flying stars low and high, I feel the heat of this city's many sides warm me up inside, embraced by multitudes who leave their humble, distinct marks on the American night. From the journal, I just rather commit these to memory than shuffle through papers. So I'll read a few from this issue. Trust building. It's always troubled me the flushing of proximate feathered or furry ones prior to prolonged eye contact through bino lens, captured by camera, or better yet, make amends by properly communing, sharing presence, my deep longing. I haven't excelled at boundaries. Nerves frayed, animals and birds dart away. Today I ate lunch playing visual hide and seek with a Pacific Slope flycatcher mom, hopping and dropping through the male coast silk tassel. Me seated at the round glass table, dancing glimpses as she flitted back and forth, in and out of view through gaps in handrails. Like a Puerto Rican fan courting ritual, as I feigned the male's song. Lunching workers call at passing beauty. But my human chuckles and sighs probably work better than my mimicry to keep her nigh. Or is it her nest? Yearning for her sense of safety, my sudden sideways head nod sends her up like a kite on a string to her nest above the light fixture, too high for me to look in. And also from the journal, yeah, I guess you might be able to guess by now that I spend a lot of time off in my own world, in solitude. But this poem is called Out of Loneliness, and not the usual expression, out of loneliness. Out of loneliness. I thrust up slope, having trespassed the cattle guard, into steep, secluded bowl, amphitheater presided over by lone Black Angus bull, crowning the hill above. He bellows down at me, or habitually, like me when lonely. In a stock pond, a soul camouflaged newt, belly orange as the duckweed he struggles through. I clamber up open slope, feel my heart beat faster, paranoid of being spotted in someone's scope. There's little lonelier than the amplified swipe of rubber and roar of motor, of car after distant car. On the downhill retrace, I detour to check puffballs a week after the last rains. All turn to brown dust inside, except the last and largest double-cheeked bulb, resting like an old leather basketball by itself on the shaded lower slope, jaded around the edges, heart of flesh white as my refreshed eyes, full as my bulging chest, knowing I'm not going home alone one, but all one. Thank you. I would be remiss in not bringing up this theme called Cocoon. Seated on the railing to drink in the last rays of the day's sun through the trees, I put my right hand back to push off, to go back inside, and something clings to my hand. I bring it around to find a tiny life form, a moth's cocoon, its two eyelash-like tentacles pushing out into air. I feel its soft life force fluttering in a quivering dance, its pre-nascent wings pulsating within the wrap. As long as my long-haul fatigue and brain fog persist, is this a sign of my imminent metamorphosis? From frail rail of a man to the natural fullness of the human being I was meant to be? Unable to keep as a pet or magically hasten its airborne emergence, as with myself, into a next stage. All I can do is wrap it inside a coiling ribbed-veined beech leaf, tailor-made mirror of its casing, and place it on the windowsill. Aware of my impatience for moving completely through COVID's clinging, I guess I just have to wait it out within my protective shell of home for the instinctive shedding of its sheath to allow me into the full extension of my life. All I can do is listen from moment to moment within this surrendered body's innate design for life and the signal of its readiness to unfurl and retake flight. Thank you. Just have a few more, if that's all right. Let's see. This is a summer poem coming out of a kind of pilgrimage to the deserts of the mountain region of Argentina, a place called Cordoba, you might have heard it, but Cerro Colorado, Argentina, is where the great poet, troubadour, singer Atahualpa Yupanqui lived in this house in a really remote area. And he talked in a documentary about the 1,000 arrivals on a journey and a cloud passing over, the horse stopping to drink water. But this is regarding a really blissful arrival to that place. Oh, to return to the primal, sun-soaked seat of self, at last at peace, after coursing outward thrust, belly lying on hot caressing sandstone shelf, alongside coursing arroyo, beneath beaming red cliffs. Calm as a lizard, I slide into sublime siesta, made sweeter by the sweat, soil, and blood rubbed into my skin, the toil taken to arrive here, a toll. Revived here, in this water hole of pulsing primordial life, as I glide inside sweet water. Striped fish nibble on my skin, as I nibble on lemony watercress, aside Atahualpa's face, carved in bas-relief profile into the amber sandstone banks, as the blackbirds stitch their twirling notes into the soft noonday breeze. And the last one I'll read is for all of you who've ever had been pried out of your most precious home. And I realize this is coming from a very privileged place, of being in West Marin and being able to stay there. But yeah, it describes a transition from the house that Alice described over the water. It's called Local Exile. In a daze I traipse along the dry creek bed, the prolonged ratcheting trill that was the kingfisher's is the Nuttall's woodpecker instead. Raspy shrieks overhead, suggesting fishing Caspian's turns, are green herons up in the bay laurel. Fallen willow leaves, where fresh water will flow, resemble petrified smelt, or when coiled, dead shrimp. I come to an hourglass container, like the one I'd found in low-tide bay mud, that turned out to be a cruet, long thrust from Tony's Seafood, where I'd recently moved from. Now, just a salt shaker without its salt. Thanks a lot. It's really...
Oh, I have to cut this down.
All right.
Oh, thanks. The third poet in this triumvirate is Keith Gabori, who earned an MFA in creative writing from Emerson College and an MA in English from San Francisco State University and a BA in English from Baker University. His poems appeared in such literary publications as Poetry Quarterly, New Millennium Writings, San Francisco Poet Library's Poem of the Day series, The Pedestrian Press, published in Oakland, I'm Not Dead in 2020, and Finishing Line Press published The Boy Born with a Pinhole Heart in 2022. Kelsey Books published The Cosmos is Alive in 2023, and he was also published Still Human in 2025. He's a preschool teacher, a bibliophile, president of the Berkeley branch of the California Writers Club, and he lives in Oakland.
Hi. Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Hi everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm actually no longer the president. My term ended on June 30th, so I'm okay with that. I was gonna read a poem from the journal. This is, I was writing a lot of either San Francisco or Oakland-based poetry, and the one I'm gonna read is a San Francisco-based poem. well, as indicated by the title, a San Francisco drive. Scarlet horsepowers, crimson command on California 1, while bodies, scorched by a UV tongue, lounge on Pacific Ocean sand, where tan lines grow into cancer's waiting room. Back in a decade now dead, Scarlett slept on that same red punishment until Dr. Baskin cut out a mole's malpractice. With lipstick pop in canine hair, a vermilion skirt drapes over a scar, welded into skin, as Scarlett hurls down that concrete red carpet next to a maroon minivan where a sunburnt kid licks strawberry ice cream first scooped over at Hometown Creamery. At a screaming stoplight, crimson and maroon speed brake for a woman born ruby-cheeked under a blood transfusion moon, grips a cherry leash fixed to an Irish setter's chestnut neck. When they walk across the walkway, an apartment fire button down blazes a confidence of warmth before Scarlett's hooked eyes. And so I was gonna read. So this is my book that just came out in the spring. It's called Still Human, from Falkenberg Press, and the book has, along some of the poems, illustrations that were from my publisher, Audrey May, who did what I couldn't have done. So some of the poems have like this is an hibiscus, and so the art is meant to kind of complement the poems. So, and this one I'm gonna read. It's wait, where is it? Wait, here we go. Okay. Past life reconstructed. I am a man, though I believe I once breathed as a mother in low sunlight who drank milk from cows grazed in cemeteries. Under the same moon I blink under now, she nursed her neonate son before a fire's dancing limbs. I wonder about the trajectory of mortal flesh, seeped into grass, ruminated in cow stomachs, then filled her own, sending a calcium cocktail from her breast to the sun enveloped in her grasp. The moonlight man I am digs through veneers of deaths and births to hold this mother's skin alive in my neurological hands. And thank you. This is You Should Be Fatter. Mom tells me. I try to shrug her off like a snail I can't pry from my stomach. In the bathroom, an air freshener sprays that snail, while the mirror keeps on throwing my reflection back. Over a porcelain circle, I force my finger down. Breakfast rushes out like swamp water, hosting mollusks of disgust. Thank you. This is a stone baby, and I have an epigraph. A stone baby is a fetus dies during a pregnancy, is too large to be reabsorbed by the body, and calcifies. You carry me, a reject a black stone, silently screaming beside my sister, still alive when you penetrate the clinic's sliding door sword. After you open your legs for a sterilized invasion on an ambiotic battlefield, will you remember your twin daughters, preserved in the cellular thumbprint, pressed into your prom dress belly? In utero, bold cells expanded into my emerging brain. Now I'm calcified within a canopy of skin and bone.
Are you a vegetarian?
Oh, sorry?
Are you a vegan?
Huh? Sorry.
Are you vegan? You know, vegan where you
Oh,
don't
oh.
eat meat?
Oh, no, I'm not vegan. Sorry, no, I'm not. I mean, this book is a very, it's meant to be surreal, and yeah. So, I like to write, I don't know, but my poetry tends to veer towards the weird and surreal. So, for what it's worth, yeah, yeah. So, this is a confession. I slip into the sin box after I lied to my dentist through bleeding gums about my flossing regiment. Inside his judgment, a spike of light crawls into my eyes like a rat looking for a home. Why am I infested with vice? I either think but do not speak, or speak but do not think. Thinking and speaking got divorced last December. They got sequestered at opposite ends of my skull. In San Francisco heat, who am I? I do not have a job to say hello and goodbye. So I kick a pigeon at 16th and Church. The father said my forgiveness is a breakfast plate to consume raw under an egg sun. I don't know how I'm doing. Am I okay on time or? Okay. It's like 7:50. Three more. Okay. I left my North Oakland shadow in the oxygen bath of Ocean Beach. A wind's swirling arms shoved me back onto my ass. Under a crushed seashell, my heart slunk out across sand. She slimed away toward a rose garden before the Dutch windmill's swirling pedal blades. I sprinted inland to grab a hunk of Alamo Square grass. Roots in hand, I flipped my finger at the native glory of the painted lady's sheen. Did I scandalize the 4 postcard temples? A fanny pack tourist chuckled, his money legs jogging over for a selfie with my heartless frame, but I pushed him into a gutter. I needed to find my red friend, lost within a grid I couldn't grapple. Into a neighborhood I once lived and now despise, I found her, sobbing on a panhandle sidewalk. A broken petal on her lips, she exclaimed, "I saved some nectar for you." I smiled and stuffed her behind my ribs. She snuggled oh so warm, like a slug after a morning storm. Yeah, Painted Lady. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. No, yeah, that was a San Francisco poem. Or yeah. Well, Painted Ladies, right? Painted. Yeah, everyone knows that. Okay. Okay. I'll just read. I'll read a couple more. And so this is I screwed my brother's head on my mom's body because, well, we needed a weekend party. But now, on the bee sting of a Monday morning, their corporate pronouns are all tripped up. When my mom smudges drugstore lipstick on my brother's lips, he, she, they push, human propelled sight under tiled fluorescence, while whispers circle from scavengers in suits. Yeah, so this will be my last poem, and this poem followed the previous poem I just read, and it has a mirror on it, and it's called "In Reflection, I Screwed My Brother's Head," and so it's meant to be a reflection of the poem I just read. So, in reflection, I screwed my brother's head. From scavengers in suits, whispers circle. Under tiled fluorescence, human-propelled sight. He, she, they push, lipstick on my brother's lips. After my mom smudges out, tripped up corporate pronouns. A Monday morning, a bee sting was all we needed after a weekend party. When my brother's head got screwed on my mom's body. Thank you.
I just have one poem to read. It's not from the journal, but I'll mention there are about 50 other writers who are in the journal if you want to peruse it. And of course, we've got former journals that are digitally on the website, and you can find them at, it's called Reads, and you can get it through the internet. This is called Redwood Highway. The last turn in the road before the redwoods begin, the change in the light like quilt squares through the twilight. 300 years ago, a native child would have seen a giant redwood for the first time. At home in the city, I see some in a grove or in the nearby woods. Now there are many along the highway, peaceful giants exhibiting both worry and calm, like a grandparent. Then turn onto the coast. My eyes look up to see the skies blue, birds above in the space where the treetops reigned.
No. What's that? Oh, yes. That's a little extra affection for the poets. I want to thank Alice, all the readers from the Haight Ashbury Literary Journal. A beautiful thing. It's going to. It's just coming into its own after all these decades. I'm sure there are many years to come, hopefully. So we're going to have a maybe 5-10 minute break. And then we'll have the open session. Jerry Ferez is here. He'll preside over that. He and I will read a couple poems to begin that. Remind people that it's basically 3 to 5 minutes. And of course, keep in mind that brevity is the soul of wit. So, better 3 exquisite minutes than 5 that drag. But if you got 5, stuff to go, that's beautiful. That's much appreciated too. So we'll take a short break. All right, folks, we have another, maybe a minute before we resume the reading with the open session. All right, guys, anybody who wants to read in the open section, please, I hope you've already signed in, or if not, you're very welcome to sign in now. All right, guys, we're about to get started. I want to thank all the readers from obviously the featured, very nice set. And we're going to continue the festivities. Jerry's going to preside over the open portion of the reading. And each of us will read shortly. Again, 3 to 5 minutes is kind of a good rule of thumb for how long one might read. So I'll do hopefully 3 minutes worth. It's entitled Reading Minds. As I asked my pal Pinky, are we gentlemen beyond suspicion or cousins of Cain, doomed to wear shades at midnight, 5 o'clock shadows at noon? The sun is talking a blue streak, but the coffee grounds are coy. The clock loves a circus entombed in geological time. As Pinky responded, before making a triple bank shot like a prodigy in his prime, the odds are steep, our time's not long, and only an atheist can read the mind of God. And this is a poem written for a late cousin of mine from, well, when the seedlings talked. I choose to ignore the weeds whispering intermittently. I'm going mad, but not mad enough. The grave gives birth to song after song, and brandy kicks off my backseat breakfast. It's Christmas Day 1977 all over again. My buy now, pay later Kingston cousin drives us to Montego Bay as if his dreads were on fire. A kamikaze Grand Prix racer running the leisurely Levi's off the road. He would be dead in months, going down in the Caribbean in a small plane stuffed with ganja, knowing only that the sun would be a red giant 200 times its present size in 30 billion years. I'll conclude with this, entitled Had I Had. To be human is to be dazzled, dismayed, and dying. As my wise old uncle would have said, had I had a wise old uncle. And would that sagacious old fool have sung at dawn a cacophonous song, ruthless as a tiger's silence? Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. I'll do it again. This is Blind Willie Johnson, who sang, Bible singer, sang on the streets of New Orleans back in the 20s. He was one of the earliest to be recorded, too. It's called Motherless Children Have a Hard Time. Motherless children have a hard time when mother is gone. Motherless children have a hard time when mother is gone. The children got no place to go, running around from door to door. Motherless children, I have a hard time when mother is gone. Father will do the best he can when mother is gone. Yeah, father will do the best he can when mother is gone. Father will do the best he can. There's so many things a man just don't understand. Motherless children have a hard time when mother is gone. The children got no place to go, running around from door to door. Motherless children have a hard time when mother is gone. Well, some people say big sister must do when mother is gone. Some people say big sister must do when mother is gone. Well, some people say big sister must do. First man come along, she will be untrue. Nobody treats you like mama do when mother is gone. Some people say little brother must do when mother is gone. Yeah, some people say little brother must do when mother is gone. Some people say little brother must, poor brother just don't know what to do. Nobody treats you like mama do when mother is gone. Children got no place to go, running around from door to door. Motherless children have a hard time when mother is gone. No place to go, running around from door to door. Motherless children, I have a hard time when mother is gone. 10 readers. So, don't let me get the dreaded hook out. All right. So our first poet is Karen Marker. Right here. All right. Let me do that.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a poem that's in the journal, and I'm going to read that. It has gone through many iterations. At first was quite epic, and then it was rewritten for here, and I rewrote it again for tonight. And it's called After the Poet's Obituary Appears as a Poem, 2/20/2/21. The day he died at the end of the first year of COVID, after the last of the magnolia flowers fall, mourners pour into the alley where his bookstore presides at the corner named after Kerouac, beside Vesuvio's Cafe. North Beach, the North Star, pulls them back on a pilgrimage to the place it first happened. City lights. Young people weep and kiss the ground. Someone tells a story of being 7, the gift of a notebook from her father, one word on the cover, Ferlinghetti. How that moment started her cascading towards the literary heart of his city, making her way into his mind. Everyone saying it. He set in motion set the silent Sibyl free from her cave, gave us permission to play, to sing, to channel and chant with Coney Island of the mind in our minds. The mourners fill their glasses with Pinot Noir, make a shrine of flowers on the cobblestones, read and type poems, chalk them on pavement. The old poem spinner got it just right. All the twists and turns of these times, so many dead now, and so much that still lives. Ferlinghetti, his name lingers. No end in sight. So I just had my first book published called Beneath the Blue Umbrella, and I'm very proud of it because the proceeds are going to NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness, and I've already actually made some money to give them. So that's really wonderful because it tells a story of mental illness in my family, a personal story that I couldn't tell until my sister, who was 11 years older than me, died 2 years ago. And then I was free to share this story that is a combination of flash memoir and poetry. And I'm going to, and it tells a story of a journey of misdiagnosis and many of the terrible things that happen as a result of that, but also of recovery and the power of telling our stories. And I think that part of that story is one of healing that we do when we tell stories. But I'm going to only read from here the last poem in this book, which is called The Forest Preserve, in honor of the nature poems that were read tonight. And this is after W.S. Merwin's For the Anniversary of My Death. Every day, without knowing it, I have written myself into another forest I want to preserve. Entangled in this garment of green undergrowth, overgrowth, growth so deep and dark I cannot find a way through without a path. I have no choice but to go further in, to follow the sound of all that hides, all that wants to be discovered. The song of one persistent bird guides me through all my past, to all my future journeys that won't begin until I'm thoroughly lost, until I'm bow to what is and to what is not yet. Climb a tree, find a clearing where everything I love is buried. There's no way to go back. Now I found this forest, the work of my every waking hour. So that's that's Ars Poetica, poem about the process of poetry. I wanted to share one other poem. I am in the midst of a project where I'm writing a poem a day in response to current events and of protest and hope. And it's very challenging, but it's something I've committed to doing and I've been posting them on social media. Today has been a very, very difficult day. I'm not going to read my poem of today because it's still rough, but it's a story that I call The Cult, and about the addiction of those in the cult to continue to do things that harm themselves and others. But the poem I am going to read is a more San Francisco-based poem that I wrote 2 days ago or 3 days ago after witnessing beautiful San Francisco and the lighting of the laser beams. And it's called No More Stealth Wealth. Here in San Francisco, we've got our own personal Venice. Opulence for everyone at Embarcadero Plaza. Glitter, bubbles, silver heels, low-cut dresses, our own belting it out karaoke by the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. And in front of the giant sculpture of a woman revolution, we've got space laser beams forming the longest rainbow flag in the world, shooting out for miles. When you've been pressed down so hard, you turn to diamonds. So we've got the wealth, and all of us have been radicalized by empathy. This is our pride. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. What an incredible crowd.
Thank you so much. Okay, Jeff Kalis.
Oh, thank you, Jerry. And let's say thank you also to Michael and to Eric. Have a little bit of... Oh, and also, make sure you have bucks for the bards. Right here. I'll be brief. Oh. Oh, yeah. Thank you. A man, our own Renaissance man, he does everything so well. I will be brief. I have a couple of poems timed to the time of year, and particularly tomorrow. The first one is called So Proudly We Hailed. Can you remember when America was fun? Fun there in the 50s, and you there as a kid on the 4th of July, on the corner of 2nd, South, and Main Streets, in a salty coastal town in the state of Maine. You're prepped for a parade beside your brothers and your mother, the sunny sounds of brass and drums and glockenspiel approaching like a promise of what your country and your coming of age in it might turn out to be. And here it is. You're in it as it passes, the marching musicians and the slowly rolling floats, the red and white and blue of your nation's stars and stripes waving in the summer midday, grinned at by your Marxist mommy. This is Independence Day. free from school, free from work, free from ideology, free candy scattered to all us kid bystanders, and finishing with fireworks in the dusky evening hours, but also free from time, where we keep it, sounding, hoping in our hearts. Thank you. This is a later holiday weekend. It's called 4 by 6 by 35. On July 6th, too soon after coffee, we quarreled. Our words got away from the good they could do, and we forgot to remember. On July the 4th, years before that, we knew we'd be a two. Closer back then, crossing the garden party, I watched your lips and wanted them while we turned ours to talking for each other. Our first date, a workday lunch, wasn't till Tuesday, 3 days later. More talk, more watch over katsu. Soon, we turned to kissing. See the kiss that came in tux and wedding dress, in front of crowd and cake. Move in with much more talk, too much through angered mouths, too often missing kissing. But then we gave us 2 new pairs of lips, 2 new joys to kiss, and sang the new millennium. Thank you very much.
And Barbara Saxton, please.
Full house.
Oh boy. I know.
We're gonna get like
Okay, we're gonna get it perfect, aren't we?
measure everybody before
Thank
we
you.
program them, and so it'll be perfect sequence.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I hail from Mountain View. Anybody ever been to Mountain View in this crowd? Oh, I did. Home of Google, yeah, wow. And I'm going to read a couple of poems and one short one. First one is called Will This Fit on My Sign? But then we all make our work at right angles to who we are. And that's a quote from Adam Gopnik. Our new mega TV distracted us from protesting what's gone wrong, compelling us instead to binge Apple TV Plus sitcoms and PBS Bad News Hour segments. We fine-combed furniture sales for the perfect wooden vessel on which Big Brother could cruise the carpet seas of a tract home we bought back in 1984. I kicked myself, literally and metaphorically, for failing to attend that Not My President's Day march. Safe at home, I composed catchy slogans for signs I was too chicken to carry. Prevent wildfires, deny climate change, make water flow uphill. I meant to read Project 2025, but decided to wait for the film to come out. Guess what? It's already here. Yesterday's pasta sauce tastes of orphans' bones and blood. Criminy mushroom caps bob on its surface like the shells of bombed-out desert villages. I fill our washer to the brim with loads of soiled laundry, hoping a heavy cycle will somehow stem the stench of hurtful words and nasty deeds. The worst of moods descend at 4 a.m. Wakened by a misbehaving bladder, I pee and flush, then return to bed and shiver under 2 heavy blankets. Then ghosts of relatives and friends arrive to pay ghastly homage, gloating over their escape from what our world is now, and the horrors yet to come. Meanwhile, behind Big Brother's widescreen smirk and doublespeak, tortured lovers Winston and Julia race to lose their self-respect and betray all those that they truly loved. And this one is from, oh, thank you. This one is from my second book. Well, there are only two. And it's called Words Are Never Free. Words are free. Use them, the bossy bookmark shouts, as otherwise benign talismans are often prone to do. Eat 5 servings, make love, not war. Get a colonoscopy now. Yes, words are seldom free. Their weighty cost broadcasts from weathered tombstones to posts on social media. Tree cradles rock in the strong winds. The babes within them always fall. I can bid goodbye in 13 languages, but saying hello is a whole different concept. If life's final exam it came equipped with a word bank, would we fill in the blanks, self-correct, and score well? Or might we give up halfway, demanding new answers? Words are not free. Neither is silence. Both keep us captive. Words aren't cheap either, weighed sometimes in gold, but more often in lead. Once released in the Gulf Stream of human endeavor, they tumble and race toward far lower ground, changing the hues of smooth creekbed stones, red for anger, green for envy, yellow for cowardice, and white for surrender. Like Keith was saying, I had some illustrations for my book, and I'm absolutely sure that you can't see this, but this is a wonderful drawing of red-legged honey creepers, and it was made for the book by my son David, so that made it extra special. And this is a poem called Red-Legged Honey Creepers for Loretta Diane Walker. They took up morning posts, sinking chrisman taloned feet into familiar fragrant stalks. She's gone, one chirped. Her purple sister nodded, adding, if birds could weep, we would. Instead, these longtime friends dipped their sharp and lilac beaks into some nearby nectar blooms, then dripped the magic sweetness of her words upon the many lands in need of honey, remembering at last to swallow some of it themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Yolanda Casalco? Yeah. Yeah, Yolanda.
I just want to say that I'm a naturalized citizen, but for the last month, I very much empathized with undocumented immigrants. Empathized, not sympathized. I'm a waterfall with tears streaming down my soul, crusty rivers held back by dams which laborers built to stem the overwhelming suffering of my soul, walking barely on Mission Street, wondering, is it the failed endeavors of Vermont Jewish Senator Bernie Sanders' proposed legislation which garnered 19 votes? Is it United Nations ceasefire resolution didn't include hostages, so they said, when in fact it included hostages released? 2. With the United States funded monies for bombs that in November 2023 killed 88 mostly women and children in Gaza while they slept. 3. Gray cement sidewalks we walk on, seeing homeless people, young, old, with pets, with cardboard, sometimes blankets if they're lucky, while rain tumbles down from blue-gray sky. The blue the shoe used as the color of the Israel flag, with six-pointed star in Ukraine, yellow and blue colors flag, yellow for the sun as well. C. I read on internet news that some 100,000 years ago, the universe was dark. Then galaxies became part of the universe. Galaxies that brighten the skies, light consisting coming from the stars, which the Jewish were quick to claim as their symbol. D. The Muslim symbol is crescent moon, the night. E. It was during our nights, their day, that whoever favored Israel, who chose to attack, killed, removed from planet the wretched of the earth, the Palestinians who have chosen Hamas as their liberators. In May 2024, and just like in 2017, Hamas published they're willing to live next to Israel. In May 2024, Hamas called for a 5-year ceasefire, which could become permanent ceasefire. Hamas wants peace. They want an end to the military fighting from both sides. Netanyahu said no. Netanyahu wanted to kill all of Hamas because Netanyahu said he wanted to eliminate Hamas. D. The Democrats lost 2024 presidential elections. Not much difference between Republicans and Democrats. The elections are over. The bombings continue. The burning alive of Palestinian children of Palestinian families, which have been going on for decades, continue. The water is rising. The water overtaking land will continue due to global warming. The stars, the sky, the sun will appear and not be invisible, disappearing eventually. Day will turn to night. If the sun burns out, the moon will show its full splendor when we, the people, recognize that nature, science, inherently changes. It's inevitable. If we put some political divisions aside and unite as a class, demonstrate our humanity by calling for a third party, a political party, a camel that will carry us from destitution to a world free of plunder, free of exploitation, free of oppression, to a world where the moon will smile at us, where hydrogen and helium-filled stars will mean H2O, water is for all, not just for the privileged class who consists of a few.
Thank you. Okay, David Hutchinson.
Thanks, everybody. This one's called No Pier. See over, or rather don't overlook, descent of anchors into those depths of mutuality in many spirited spiral tightropes holding sway in circles that give out beyond the bays. Impressions of far distant truths invented in lands of older mountains. Glass them from so close that any need has gone to wonder what lies below, and just remains the knowing that in some shortness of an order there will be among this here a heaviness aboard to be followed by far more. Tasked to overcome the barnacles attached to holes unsunk, all that plays so out returns, and in the ever sailing dry. This one's called Intersectional. What does it mean to live between the all but so alone and with the lives of bending time and fabric still unsown by thought and visions never seen? Upwards of chaparral and giving way to tree line and all that rises toward the sky, searching with defiance of directions. Gravity of weight on the afternoon of midnight's hours of the moments never been by ours. just the mystery of known. And this one I recently wrote about the dahlia garden in the park. I didn't know until I started writing this that the dahlias were used by the Aztecs. They're edible and medicinal. They're high in fructose. And there's a couple Nahuatl words in this. The first means water cane because they have hollow stems. The Aztecs used to carry water in the stems. And the second one is Ashkan, which means the present or now. It's called the life cycle of the dahlia. A sleep to time, and that entails a cellar for stunted roots of waiting on a word-forming element that presents all spheres of history to Ashkan, rather than against some inherent one. Kokozoshiro on heaves up and through that soil to present a future garden that in this form appears a barren graveyard in reverse. Soon the cirrus begin to form from the green below, then water canes and wooden crutches that reach beyond sight to rejoin a vanished family that speaks of silent displays, of wondrous geometry and color without blue. Not of a face or personhood of sky, withdrawn by refraction of the moment, but a beauty formed by careful and devoted solely to enduring creation to know and remember from afar. Land-based anemone farms built on all the strands from unaided in the altitudes to domesticated fantasies of vision. And with all thus the ability to know that within these flowers rest that in each and every the commons exist along the wild siblings still, and so shared by all who wish to see. Commingled time the place explodes in varied clouds hued by the palettes of the sun that reflect the ability to know of the simple value of temporal perfection that withers and sleeps then grows over to do it all again for just the pleasure of behold.
Okay, David, thank you. And Scooter?
Intention, intuition, sad, glorious dust, the ghost of old America hidden everywhere, 7 movements of the sun, spectral intelligence, right-wing donut factory fairy tales abound. Fortunately, nothing lasts, everything matters. Does a clock dream of time or the liberation of the distance between the hours? Glorious, sad ghosts, what hero's journey? Movement of time, of the sun, of dust, deep structures of memory. If we are gods, we are also ants. Knowledge of the leaves must be shared. The redemption of sound, of moonlight, of tomorrow. Exuberance in sunlight, Sonny Rollins.
Okay, Scooter. And Garrett Murphy.
Homage to Buzz Windrip in the name of Homeland Security. Fascism is here. It shouldn't have been any surprise at all. After all, it was approaching our land even more surely than the Medfly, Y2K, or African killer bees, and is ultimately far more deadly. Fascism has arrived. There are those who crow that it makes no difference and that we are all in the same boat and we better get used to sacrifice. Yet they themselves are the last to have to make such sacrifices. Would they be so nonchalant? Were they to be the ones thrown on the front lines as so much target practice? Too obvious a question to answer for would-be armchair generals. Fascism has come, and with all due respect to Sinclair Lewis, it can happen here and it is happening here with all this homeland security. Miss Sybil Libertine was recently run dead by a plane of security while too many of us say, let it happen for we need to wake up. Little do they know that some might end up so they never wake up, or find they're not watching only a movie starring the Donald Trump as Berselius Buzz Windrip. They'll instead soon find this is no old wives' tale either, but all too real for many to survive. It can happen here. It is happening here, and about to happen more, for fascism is here. Safe and sound. Here you sit in your suburban abode, well beyond the security gate, on a quiet side of the sound wall along the throughway, at home watching the news on TV. Reveling at the story about the newly erected border fence and the resurrection of old crows. But it's not enough. It never is enough. And they keep on coming. They never stop coming. Soon there'll be nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide. Walled in, cut off, suffocation is imminent, and they're still coming. It's enough to cause one to commit a capital offense of building a bridge. Kissippoo Killjoy. Once it was customary to take a knee. Now it's a seeming prerequisite to bend and kiss the knee. Something to consider one must. A splotch of dirt on one's pants, one's dress, one's stocking, or one's bare skin can be washed or laundered clean as the case may be. But can one's bare lips or tongue, even with the strongest mouthwash, be ever free of the putrid residue accumulated by the most bogus yet soi-disant of icons? One's choice.
Okay, Garrett, and then Duncan Dobson, please.
Hi, folks. I'll read something in just a second, but I just wanted to say I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark. If any of you out there are interested in publishing a book, I've been publishing a lot of books for a few years, and the last couple of years I've done some by other people, not just myself. Zines, too. This one I just got on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com and Books A Million and IndieBound. And so if any of you are interested in working on a book and publishing it, then come see me after the open mic, and I'll give you my card. You can look at these if you want. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that. And I'll read a couple from my own book. Just give me a second. You are an apostrophe that fills in a space for me. You are a shorthand for what I don't understand. You are an overflow of what I want to know. You are geometry. You are hyperbole. You are my morning fix of DJ mix, music in line with a greater design. You aren't a ploy to destroy. You're not coy. You're selling me on what I can't see. You're telling me what is meant to be. Few men can stay on the straight, narrow way. We tend to stray. The room was filled with steam when I woke up. I went next door. The windows were fogged and had red letters. I found the woman in charge. Tall, olive, black, kinky, curly, thin, bony nose. Do you always cook this much? Can't you read? No. And yet there's something about you. You can stay if you like. I have to go to bed. I have to wake up. Don't worry. No one knows where you are. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Duncan. And Christopher Sarmiento.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christopher. I didn't actually bring anything of my own. I'll be reading from Sally's book, some of my favorites. Please excuse me as my yin just got dry and I'm almost out of water. Sitting on a wooden bench. Sitting on a wooden bench, as though cupped in hand, of Tree Glen, while many birds sing concerts to me. Immediately when I arrived, birds' concert began. Can feel excitement of their performing. Lace dainty weeds stand so still, with their puffed up lacy clothes spread wide and full. Ages of quiet soothe me. Enjoy sitting. Enjoy sitting and letting waves do all the work. The waves run to me and retreat. They run to me, checking in to see if I'm okay. When they see I am okay, writing poetry, they quickly go as not to disturb me, but soon return and send their children to simply check in on me. I'll do one more. Silence in the redwoods. If we've been there, it's quite silent. Silence so smooth, silence, so velvety, silence, holding its breath for countless years until interrupted by a falling tree. The silence soothes me. I too am quiet, holding my breath. Thank you. Oh. Sally Love Saunders's book is available here at the bookstore. If interested, just inquire.
Okie dokie. Franklin. Milwaukee. Franklin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't hear my last name. The last name is Zawaki.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, like Milwaukee.
All right.
And so I taught high school, taught college, that sort of thing. And when I would say that, Zawaki, like Milwaukee, inevitably students would say, Mr. Milwaukee, and they would do it innocently. And I was thinking I was helping them, but it turned out I wasn't. I don't know if I wasn't in everything, but okay, I'm gonna like bounce a little bit here.
Never give up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. The applause comes later. The applause comes later, or maybe it doesn't, huh?
We like your shoes.
Thank you. Well, I'm getting ready for tomorrow. Okay, Franklin's Zawaki, and I've got 2 poems that I'll read, and actually 3, but I'll stick to 2. So this first one's called A Meeting. Brothers, sisters, I first got addicted to poetry reading the French writers. A sip of port with Baudelaire, a glass of Bordeaux with Max, you know who, Picasso's little Jew. A shot of brandy warmed me up to Mallarmé. Dry sherry, straight from the bottle. That's all. That's all it took, and I was hooked on Rimbaud. Plenty of vermouth with the Prince of Poets. What's his name? Verlaine. That old so-and-so. Finally, I uncork champagne and stumble over Shakespeare. I find myself on the floor with Emily. Oh, what the hell. Someday, I tell myself, I'll pour it all back into the bottle. Meanwhile, I just keep turning the pages. Night after night, I'm drunk on that rush of stars, intoxicated beyond any one sense. I've even found myself high with Hopkins on sacramental wine. What a trip. Me, of all people, in religious ecstasy. Dylan's voice boomed like the voice of God while he downed 18 straight whiskeys at the White Horse Tavern. I tried to outdo him. Lifted a bottle of Campari, but chipped a tooth. Why complain? If nothing else, poems relieve the pain. Okay, and the second poem is called Autumn on the Loose. Somebody's lit the trees, unzipped a dress, brightened the stars while darkening the earth. Sharpen the edges so I can't sleep. I run through leaves with an open mouth. My blood crackles. My heart sheds roses. The land tilts downward. The stars draw close. I fear I'm falling beyond the edge. Wait, that scent. I remember that scent. Touch me. That lusty scent. I'm in your arms. I'm about to awaken. Thank you. Thank you. He says before he falls off the stage. Thank you. I'm going to go right to here. 1, 2.
Thank you, Michael, Eric. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. See you next month. March Thursday.
It was really a beautiful mix of poets.
Yeah.
A beautiful mix, very different poetry.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you.
Sacred